Well, will wonders never cease? The second episode of Ms. Marvel, called Crushed, was pretty good. It wasn't bad. There's a little more of the superhero element in this one, but still the strongest elements of it are its sort of, family sitcom type narrative. And so they go a little through that a bit more. But it all makes sense in that it's all credible into the origins of Kamala's powers here, which there's also a bit of a apparent clue that it's not the little bracelet or whatever it is that she got. It's connected somehow, but it appears it actually activated the power within her. So perhaps we'll still learn that she's part of the Inhuman people and that sort of thing. Just in a different roundabout way that are going to do it here with all these glowing powers and everything. So far, she hasn't been called Ms. Marvel yet. They actually call her Nightlight. Which, well, that's not bad, Maybe you should have gone with that, but anyway. But a good bit of it is teen high school soap opera hijinks. And, of course, I'm not very fond of those scenarios. But it's okay when it's kept at a minimum. And for the most part, they've done it. Now, like the previous episodes that I got annoyed with the animation stuff, that's still in here, but it's not quite overpowering the scene. So that's actually a pretty good sign as they go forward with this story. And the elements of it that's typical of superhero comics. Certainly Marvel really laid down the stamp on this mode of storytelling, of where there was this sort of soap opera element, subplots and whatnot within the action and adventure of superhero stories. Most notably Spider-Man, of course. And that's what the stage that's being constantly set and reinforced here for the Ms. Marvel show. And, already the insinuation of some potential romance between her and her male friend, who obviously is more interested in her than she is. We meet a new character who's a new student in town. And if you're familiar with Cameron Pasha, who's been looking forward to this show quite a bit, and if you know him from Midnight's Edge and on Doomcock's channel and all that sort of stuff, the new character's name is Cameron. So it's hard not to think of him with this. You can read his thoughts on his Patreon on this. He's so far thrilled with this show, and it reflects the life that he knows, But the aspects of it are all very universal and very American, in my opinion, and how this all works out for them. It's so the accusations it's going to be a woke show. This is 2 episodes in. I'm not seeing it. Just because this is a Muslim character is irrelevant to the tenets of wokeism. They would have had to have had a constant beating any non-Muslim over the head with it in scenes and how bad you are or what have you. They're not doing any of that. It's just an aspect of the character's life, and that's about it. Which is the way you handle that. There's a bit of the mystery of the powers. They pursue that. That's interesting, and it ends on something of a cliffhanger, and it involves Cameron and all that. And there's this mysterious story that was hinted at in the first episode. It's more laid out here. And her mother knows something about this and that sort of thing, and she's not happy about it. She still doesn't know that her daughter has discovered these powers and everything. But there's a story they tell at the family table about the past, and it sounds like she's had some experience with this, just in the descriptions of what that story was. And it refers to the big split that happened within India, and where you have Pakistan created and all that stuff, and they're relating that story. But in the midst of all of that is weaved in this Marvel Universe stuff in there, and we'll see how they're going to craft this story, since it is quite removed from so far anyway, from the comic book version, which, of course, I didn't like the comic book, so that's fine with me this time. A lot of times, hey, it's too far removed from the comic book, and I get upset. Well, not this time. And in keeping with what's, maybe this could work, and maybe you could make, and it can, and so far it is. And I always made the comparison to the Stargirl series, which is another one that I did not expect to like. I watched it and I was like, wow, it's not a bad show. I cannot call that a bad show. Well, it's the same thing here. So it's interesting, and I feel sorry for the kid who's got a crush on her, but now she's infatuated with this new guy and all that stuff. And well, we've all been there, so yeah. Gee, I hope he doesn't become all obsessed and jealous and becomes a villain or something, but I don't know, but anyway, that's the setup they have so far. So it's still dominated by the, like I said, the family sitcom type situations as well, although there's some serious undertones here sprinkling throughout. And other little plot lines that go through, as typical of comic book superhero storytelling. But the superhero story is starting to assert itself into it. It's a superhero show. It's got to. But after that first episode, I was like, maybe we should scrap the superhero stuff and just make it this, Pakistani-American, sitcom type thing. But no, it's a superhero show, so you're going to get into it. We see her trying to save somebody, and seems to be going all right. And then she kind of messes up and stuff, and but she doesn't have long enough to deal with the ramifications of that before the sinister forces are arriving, and there's some government interest in her. Are these offshoots of S.H.I.E.L.D. or now SWORD or something, that sort of thing? We'll find out as we go. But it is interesting that they did that, to where she's not all flawless and perfect and wonderful. She kind of screws up, and it's not going to be as easy. She wants the superhero aspect, but I think a more proper narrative, and to give her a more heroic, ethically anyway, not to make it that she's just a super fan and longs to be just like Carol Danvers and all that sort of stuff, instead of coming into her own and learning the terrible burden of being a hero and that sort of thing. It's not all about fun. In fact, it rarely is. And it's seeing signs of that they'll do that for this character, and that's a huge positive for it. So some of the like the high school stuff, it falls flat on me, but that's to be expected. And that's not enough to say, well, the show's crap, don't give it a shot. Again, if I had a daughter, I'd be fine with her watching this show, and probably would enjoy it. I don't know, but yeah, another one in, and so far so good. It's performing better than I would have expected, and performing better than a lot of shows these days that I'm reviewing for various reasons, and this could be on track to be the best Marvel outing for the D+ shows, provided there's nothing that sabotages it, like what happened with WandaVision, which is just devastating. It doesn't appear to have any horrible ethic like Falcon and Winter Soldier. That was just terrible. You don't make your hero sympathetic with a mass murderer, and then berate the victims of said mass murder. That kind of dumb crap that happened. And Loki was just stupid. So Hawkeye is the one to beat. I didn't like that one either, but based just on plotting and story, and I had it was the best of the batch. Moon Knight just really disappointed me terribly, and Moon Knight was a character that I knew well, and this is just too far removed from it. Granted, I'm not giving that to Ms. Marvel because I didn't like the comic book version, but it's still in keeping with, I know enough about it, and she just doesn't have the stretchy powers. They did this glowing light thing, which is probably cooler powers anyway. But that's about it. The rest of it, I think, is pretty much in keeping with just the backstory and stuff like that for Kamala. So it's probably on the path to be the best of the D+ shows. I mean, I guess, if you want to throw in the cartoon What If series, which had some really great episodes, especially the Doctor Strange episode, which is leaps and bounds better than the movie, the sequel. But just for the live action shows right now, it's pretty neck and neck with Hawkeye. Imagine that. But well, here we are.